Hi everyone, welcome to Me to Be today. We're a little bit early because we have a special event happening with Consultant Connect over at the White Building at noon. But today we are here with Jordan Walker. She is the founder of Bondfire Strategies, and I'm filling in for Andrea. My name is Jessica. And without any further ado, do you want to tell us who you are, what you do, and how you help people?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, my name is Jordan Walker. I've been a marketing professional for over a decade now. I've always known that I wanted to go into marketing. But when I started Bondfire, my whole mission was to use my strength in marketing analysis and marketing strategy to help businesses optimize their marketing efforts. I know that we'll get into kind of my career journey here in a second, but one thing that I've really noticed over my career is that a lot of marketers tend to get stuck, chasing the new bright and shiny object. What platform do we need to be on? What do we need to do on our website? And we kind of get trapped focusing on tactics and not rising above that and looking at the holistic strategy. So I come in kind of as like a marketing coach in a way and help people rise above the tactics and start to align things so that, over time we can work more effectively, but also increase our results because we're putting our time and energy where the data shows we should. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I always feel like I definitely get caught up in the tactics.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So give us that background into how you got into this entrepreneurial journey of yours.
Yeah. So, I think it's actually been kind of a long time coming. When I was in college, I had to pay my way through school, and I was really trying to avoid having to take out student loans. And so I worked 5 different jobs. And one of those was a regular gig at Starbucks, which anyone who's starting out, or if you have kids or something, it is an awesome place to work when you're, in school. But in order to get experience, because I was working so much, I had to go out and find my own opportunities because I couldn't get, the traditional internship that required me to be, somewhere for a certain number of hours a week. That just wasn't feasible for me. And so I was kind of out hustling in college, just picking up my own contract gigs and working with small businesses around town. And so I kind of feel like my journey is now full circle coming back to that moment in time. But along the way, my first like real big girl job, I guess, I don't even know what that means anymore, but I worked for a major corporation out in Hutchinson, Kansas, and I started in digital media by helping that company develop its entire social media program, which included developing company policies, how employees should use social media. So this was in the early days of companies really using it as a platform. But that first job was really like the best training experience I could have ever had because I started in social media, but then had to learn pay-per-click or paid search advertising. Then I needed to learn search engine optimization to better our results for paid search. And then at that time, my boss was kind of like, well, you seem pretty organized and you learn pretty quick. Do you want to manage our website development processes as well? And like literally everything in my career, I said, yeah, sure, without knowing at all what I was doing. So just, that whole fake it till you make it definitely was the motto of my career trajectory, I guess. After that, I went into buying advertising and selling advertising, helping support a 60-person sales team across multiple states on how to actually tell the story of why a company would need our advertising platform, but we did it from a data perspective. And that was really something that I liked a lot. We used research to then say, here's the best way that you could develop your strategy. And so I kind of just started connecting all these dots between all of the experiences that I had had up until that point. And so then when I made the move into agency life, I just kind of took all of that, skill set and essentially kind of created my own position and helped the agency build up its product portfolio for digital media. And yeah, so, it was a lot of fun. And then I just kind of got to the point where, I wanted to, like I said, go back full circle and get back to working with more companies in our local community. I wanted to I love sharing the knowledge that I have. So I wanted to get into a position where I could work with teams and help them understand the platforms a little bit better, and just collaborate with a lot of fantastic talent that we have in the city. And so my move was both personal and professional, where I wanted more time to get out and hike and explore nature, but I needed to build my own career in order to make that time happen for myself. So yeah, here we are.
Oh, that's awesome. And she's going on a long hike in Yellowstone pretty soon. That's
Tomorrow.
what we were talking about earlier. Awesome. So do you want to tell us about what passion drives you, or?
Yeah, I mean, marketing analysis really, from a professional standpoint, is what drives me. Going into marketing, I thought, I wanted to be more in line with like the creative side and copywriting, or coming up with like the big vision of the campaign. And I do really enjoy that, but I'm also a logical person. I like to know, how are we going to tell if this works or not? And so really getting into marketing analysis, like the science and the data behind marketing, is just fascinating to me. And so that's something that drives me professionally, but personally, like I mentioned, I just crave being around people, learning from others, being inspired by other people who have a passion for what they do. And that really energizes me to be around other entrepreneurs, other startups, and even, large business owners who just have that immense passion for what they do and how they can impact the community. And so I'm glad that through Bondfire, I can kind of merge both of those into one profession.
Oh, for sure. And I really appreciate that you're saying that about like the data and science behind it too, because I feel like the thing that's really hard for a lot of business owners with marketing is that it seems like, what's the word? It seems
fluffy.
Yeah, it seems fluffy. And it seems like, oh, if you just say these things, do these things, like, oh, then you'll like sell out or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a science, and then you experiment, and and that makes it seem more attainable. And
I think it also opens the door to be comfortable with experimentation.
Yes.
I think for a long time, if you go kind of like back in the day of marketing, I mean, there was a lot of user behavior and perceptions inserted into like ad messages. And I mean, I think as women, we can also kind of argue that some of those perceptions weren't from the woman's standpoint. But along the way, as more channels have just like rapidly grown, we're just so busy just trying to be everywhere that I almost kind of feel like we've lost touch with who we actually are talking to, because none of us are in business without our clients or our customers, right? And so what my goal is to really use data and research to really define what is that customer journey. Like, how does someone go from never hearing about you to becoming a raving fan and bragging about you to everyone? And what are the steps and the sentiments that they experience along the way? Because once we really understand who those individuals are, then we can appropriately align tactics. And again, it's that whole work smarter, not harder factor. Like, I guess like on a small example, I've had, several conversations with people like, do I need to be on TikTok? Oh, I don't even know how to use Instagram stories yet. Like, how am I supposed to be on TikTok? And it's, well, if your target market is more of like a 45 plus age range, and not to say that, 45-year-olds aren't on TikTok. I mean, they are, but is that where they're making their decisions? Let's actually dig in and see, because otherwise it might be like, don't stress yourself out on that just yet. Let's master the channels that you should be on first, and then grow from there. Because I mean, if you master one channel and do that really well, you will gain traction. So
yeah. Oh, that's really good. Awesome. So what are some of the biggest struggles that you faced on your journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've gotten pretty lucky. I've only been in business officially for a couple of months now. And so things are just like rocking and rolling. And I've just been so fortunate that, the network that we have here in Wichita is just really coming through. And I've got to say, I think the best part, and I know you're asking about struggles, but I think the best part has actually been just people leaning in and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. And how can I help? And that's just like, oh my gosh, that's so nice that but I've really been kind of looking at, I'm only in business, or I've only been in business for a couple of months now, but now that I'm looking at my pipeline for the rest of the year, here I was kind of thinking a few months ago, like, oh, I'll rock solo for a while and it'll be great. And I won't, I won't be that busy to where I would need to scale up that quick. But I'm definitely in a situation now where I'm having to identify what are some things that I can alleviate off of my plate that takes me out of where I want my brain to live. And so I think that'll be a lot of what I'm thinking about while I'm hiking over the next week. And probably, considering internship, there's a lot of young talent really interested in marketing analysis. And I think that's great because we don't really have a lot of people in our community that do that.
Yes.
So, and again, I love teaching, so I would love to help, a young person really kind of grasp this concept as well, but probably also going to consider a virtual assistant just to help kind of take some of the day-to-day stuff off of my plate. And I'm in the Hive, so I know I've got plenty of resources to reach out for that.
Well, that's amazing. That's a great problem to have.
For sure. I'm not complaining at all.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So what makes you and your service unique?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the marketing analysis and that ability of helping businesses really connect the dots in their marketing plan through that data journey, I think is one of my biggest differentiators. Here in our community, at least. I think the other differentiator is so I'm very much a strategist. I'm not the individual who's going to come in and manage your social media. I won't be managing your website, and some of those implementation tactics, if we're, talking about a small business or an entrepreneur, they may not have the capacity to actually take that on themselves. Whereas an in-house marketing team that I would work with, the goal there is to help them really feel comfortable and confident in implementing the tactics. But on the small business side, or even, from a small team side, if the capacity is an issue, then what I've really done is built up kind of a community of resources that we can lean on. So based on the business's goals and needs and budget and tone of voice and all of that, if you need social media marketing, we've got several people that we can pull in that would fit your niche. Designers, I mean, again, we just have so much talent here in Wichita that I guess kind of like an underlying passion that I have is when I look around our city and see how many incredible people that we have and know that, agencies and companies really only have like a percentage of the talent. We have so many other people out there really trying to make it. And I guess an underlying passion is that I want to activate those individuals through the partnerships that I'm creating, whether it's copywriting, design, social, videography, photography, that sort of thing. So, and again, that's something that I love too, because as I'm around and working with people that I've never had the opportunity to really work with, I'm getting inspired. I'm learning a lot. And as just a genuinely curious person, it energizes me so much.
I love that. That's really, that's so cool. I like the activating other individuals. That's really neat. Yay. Okay, so what does work-life self-care alignment look like for you?
Yeah, this is tough, I think, as a business owner. But I think, something previous, I actually feel like even though I'm working the same amount of hours now than I was in my previous lives, I think the biggest difference is that it's on kind of my schedule. So for me, what self-care and alignment looks like is giving myself those opportunities to decompress and download if I need to. So if I'm feeling kind of stuck on a project, and the weather is nice, I might hop on my bike, put in my headphones, I'll get Siri on cue. And then as I'm biking, I might just be like spitting out ideas as they come to me just to kind of get out of my environment and think through problems in a different way. I also have a very dedicated get up from my desk time frame where if I'm bunkered down all day, then I'll make sure that I'm taking the appropriate amount of breaks and getting up and getting away. But I'm not really an 8 to 5 kind of lady. Like I like to get up and have my coffee and check in on things. But, if the inspiration just isn't there, then I might be, like an 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. kind of lady, or I might work, like 8 to 3. And then, oh my gosh, it's 8 o'clock. And I have this like thought in my head, I'm going to go sit down and just, work it out. And I think that's fine because that puts me on a groove that I'm most interested in. And then just really taking the opportunity to be active. That was something that I was desperately missing in my former positions where, every hour of my day would be tied up in meetings and work and just organizing and just trying to get prepared for the next day to do it all over again. Yeah. And so making sure that I'm giving myself time in the morning for stretching and yoga or doing a little bit of an exercise, getting out and taking a walk over lunch, or when my husband gets home, we like to go on walks after work, and just like really giving myself that activity time. That's exactly what I need. So
yeah. And I'm going to spring a question on you.
Sure, yeah.
So, because you are about to leave on vacation, how do you give yourself a vacation as an entrepreneur? Because I'm sure a lot of people feel like they just can't get away from their businesses. So how are you doing that? Yeah.
Honestly, I set expectations with people up front. I put in my email signature like in May. Quick note, I will be gone June 11th through the 21st. Like just to every single email that I send, that note is right there in my email signature. So everybody knows. As I've been locking in new projects and whatnot, when I submit timelines to anyone, it automatically has like out of pocket, no cell service. I will not have my laptop. Like I'm off the grid. And I need that to be a better performer for the people that I work with. And as long as I feel like I am setting them up for success before I leave, I think it's just all about like scheduling yourself. And I think, my agency experience definitely helped me be okay with doing that, because again, your schedule is dictated by client work and by the other individuals that also need to get things done. But in this case, I'm able to set that schedule for myself. And so giving, heads up when heads up needs to be given, making the timelines work based on what I need. I worked a few longer days this week just to get projects done and make sure that everybody that I'm in collaboration with feels comfortable. Like, here's where we're at status wise. Is there anything else you can think of? I am logging off officially. Like right before this, I was like, I'm logging off for the day at 10:30, and I'll check my email again at 2 p.m. But if it's not there, I'll talk to you again on the 22nd. So setting expectations and just being comfortable with you are allowed to do that. I think this is actually really nice when you are upfront and transparent with your clients on that level. I had a meeting this week with a group, and I said, okay, well, I will do my best to get you these things before I leave, but I need, XYZ from you in order to make that happen. Otherwise, I'm going to Yellowstone and it won't happen until the 22nd. And the first thing that came out of the business owner's mouth was, we've lived without this for this long. I think we can wait another couple of weeks to get this started. And so I think just having that conversation, it doesn't diminish you as a professional. It doesn't mean that you're not a hard worker. It is absolutely okay for you. Even if you're in the digital media world, it is 100% okay for you to say, I'm logging out and I will see you later,
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry to spring that out, but that was really good. I think we all need to hear that. Awesome. So how has the Hive helped you professionally and personally?
The Hive was my first spot. I mean, when I was, I will say that ever since the Hive opened, I had been really craving wanting to be a member, but my work schedule just didn't allow me to necessarily be a member. And so when I was creating my master plan of what Bondfire is and, kind of going through the logistics, I mean, I knew that I was going to work out of my home, but I wanted that networking opportunity. I wanted kind of a spot that if I'm bouncing around town, like, can I, have a hub to stop by at? And the Hive completely became that for me. So if I'm out at meetings, like, I may only buzz in for, 30 minutes at a time, but it's great to at least have this in a centrally located place that I can, lean on. But, earlier we were talking about like my need to scale and, identify additional resources. I mean, a lot of the, individuals that I've reached out to for collaborations are also members of the Hive. Some of the resources that I will need for like virtual assistants and stuff like that, I can find that here at the Hive. I just also, again, just really appreciate the network here. I mean, I walked in this morning and you were like, hey, Jordan. And I mean, it's so nice to like walk in a place and, feel like it is your community. So
yeah. And we love to see you when you hop by for 30 minutes or however long. Awesome. So what insight would you give to someone who's at the beginning of their journey?
I would say, if you are starting to contemplate, like, am I needing to make a move or am I ready to start a business? I think the biggest thing, and this was something that I really had to get over because I am such a structured and logical person, if listen to your gut instincts, because more often than not, it's right, or it knows what you need before you know you need it, right? And so if you're in a situation where you feel like you're struggling to, find joy in what you're doing, if the, mission doesn't connect with who you are. I mean, we're all evolving human beings and it's fine to be in that place. We are not born to be in a situation, like past generations have believed, where it's, you have a career and you're there until you retire, like we're not in that situation anymore. So it's okay to dig deep into yourself and just recognize like, maybe this isn't the right fit for me anymore. And so if it's you're looking just for a different career move, I say, go for it, listen and go for it. If it's I'm wanting to start a business, then awesome. Listen to that as well. And give yourself that opportunity, to not stress out about it. Bake out your master plan, get your processes, baked out as much as you possibly can, get your paperwork all lined out, like kind of get, things lined up that way. When you are ready to flip the switch, then you're not worried about those things. You can just fully concentrate on being exactly who you want to be in this move. And so, make sure your legal paperwork is in order, your processes are in order, you have like the tools to be the scrappiest version of yourself when you get out. But I kind of a side note, I just completed an entrepreneurship course with Sophia Amoruso of Nasty Gal and Girl Boss. And one of the biggest things that she continued to communicate throughout our course was, you don't have to have everything figured out right now. Get your money right, get your processes right, understand what your strengths and your differentiators are, button up your messaging, and then just put it out there without throwing all of your money toward it, without, trying to, if you're a product-based business, no, you don't have to have 50 items, and a stock of inventory ready to go. Like, she really communicated, put the scrappiest version of yourself out there, test it, refine, and be okay with that testing and that refinement. So that would be one of the biggest things that I would say, is just don't stress out about it that much. If you have a strength and it's exactly what you can do, then go for it. The universe will answer.
Yes. Awesome. So how can we help you?
I think honestly, just because I appreciate this community so much, just be there when I need a push and a challenge. And I think, if there are resources that you think I should engage in, I mean, drop me a note. If you are a service-based business and you are interested in being a part of like this Bondfire network of partners, let's talk. If you see Bondfire out on social media, like, post, comment, those algorithm-y things that are out there, I think that's the biggest ask that I would have right now.
Awesome. And so that leads us into, Yeah, how can we find you first?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's just bonfire.strategy. LinkedIn, same thing. You can go to our website at bonfirestrategy.com, and it's Bondfire. I know like autocorrect likes to change that to bonfire, but that's not it. And yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so is there anything that you have coming up or that you're working on that you want us to know about?
Nothing that I want to release quite yet. I mean, my next steps are really, go to Yellowstone, love nature, come back and start working on a couple of big projects that I have on my plate. Currently, I'm really looking forward to start digging into some amazing data sets and helping a couple of businesses really streamline their processes. But down the road, maybe in the fall, I'm considering doing some workshops and more like collaboration sessions with small businesses. So rather than me spilling the beans on what I have coming up, if there's anything in the marketing realm that people are really craving, or if there's any insights or expertise that I might have that I can share knowledge, I would love, shoot me a note, like let me know what your biggest struggles are so that I know what, kind of topics to focus on.
Yeah, well, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it. Yeah, and if you will tag Jordan in the comments, that way you can easily find her pages and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with that, I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everyone.